are not your slaves, and you will be defeated.
Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday, March 20th, 2009. First off, I'm going to go ahead and try to go over the articles I didn't get to last time. I know I haven't been on in a few days, and this will actually be the last broadcast for a week or so before I finish moving some things around here. So we're going to go for that Big Brother database, a terrifying assault on traditional freedoms, out of the Independent. And it's sweeping new powers allowing personal information about every citizen to be handed over to government agencies. Faced condemnation amid warning that Britain is experiencing the greatest threats of civil rights for decades. It's a terrifying assault on traditional freedoms. Proposal and Corners of Justice bill include measures to authorize ministers to move huge amounts of data between government departments and other agencies and public bodies. Bodies that hold personal information include local councils and DVLA benefits offices and HM Revenue and Customs. And let's see. Also, it was warned the measure was of a string of threats to civil liberties that range from attacks on the Human Rights Act, the advent of ID cards, and the proposal to retain data on the internet and email use. So it's a little bit of Big Brother over there in the EU area, basically compiling all personal information about you, your internet usage, and even your email uses, all into not just one central localized body, but actually sharing it between all levels of local and governmental departments. So everything you would do or say that's trackable, that it would be basically every agency would have a hand on that one, or have a way of finding out about it. So that's definitely not a good thing, especially when they try to, move that globally to have that incorporate everybody. That's not going to be a good deal right there. Alright, now the other article from the last episode I didn't get to cover then was EU to launch biometric passport in summer. And it's MEPs on Wednesday, January 14th, so it was pretty old. It was off of the EU Observer. The reason it was important because they said it was actually going to start this summer. So it was back to new rules on the introduction of biometric passports throughout the EU later this year, meaning this summer, while exempting children under the age of 12 having fingerprints included in their passports. The rules were approved at a first reading by overwhelming majority of MEPs, 549 against 51, while 37 abstained. The parliamentarians underlined the need to improve document security in the EU by introducing more reliable biometric data, namely fingerprints, and highlighted the different criteria member states currently apply when checking the passport applicants' identities. Mostly, it's different there than how it is here. A lot of people like to do it over the mail. Like for us, when we go for our passports in U.S., we go to the office, photo ID, all that different thing. People kind of who issue these documents to us, they see us face to face, and it's not a questionable if that person who's getting the passport is really that person. But a lot of the people in UK do it, and it even says in the article is the UK applicants by post are the norm, and the authenticity of the photo is only confirmed by so-called professional person who has known the applicant for at least 2 years. So I mean, I understand the fact that it's shady that they can get a passport that way, but skipping a step of making people go down in person to get a passport like we have here, they're like skipping a few steps and going straight for a biometric tracking of a person, putting that on the passport. And that's just a few steps, because there's another article was dated after this, that not long after they actually put that out with those statements, they said, well, we realized there's some holes and flaws in this, so obviously they might even shill that one all together and put that on the shelf and just go straight for national ID cards or RFID chips implantable into people. And that's not something I don't think anybody is really looking forward to. Now, changing subject, going for newer news, and this is actually a great thing for everybody to hear about this one right here. Now, some people may or may not know, but a while back we did have those tea parties. They got a little bit of coverage maybe in some areas. Not as much as it should have been because it was actually a lot bigger than they let on for it to be. And I guarantee that mainstream media will not be covering the huge amount of this as they should in the upcoming bit. But here, I'll just go ahead and give you guys the article here. As the American Family Association is coordinating 1,000 tea parties in cities and towns on April 15th across the United States. That's a large number. Mainstream media has provided little or no coverage. And some people in the article, they actually interviewed a few people there when they were covering it. And this is not a mainstream media article I got this from. I got it off of the Daily Net News also again. It says, it's proof Americans do not need mainstream media to launch a revolution. And you can also go over to their website, because since all of these are happening April 15th of this year, tax day for the tea parties, they're organized all over. Just go to teapartyday.com. You don't have to put any W's the beginning of the address, just strictly teapartyday.com, all one word, and go ahead, scroll down through there, and look up your city, state, see, go ahead and get active in doing that, because I hope you guys get into doing that. Now, here's a nice little article I'm sure everybody's going to love. It's dealing with Obama's army, his little youth brigade that he wants to get up and running. The House voted to approve a plan to set up the volunteer corps. Now, I know they quote this one on your volunteer corps, but actually when you read about it, it's actually mandatory. There is no would you like to, it's you have to. It's mandatory service for all young, able people. It's a little disheartening because the way it's described is that basically infants are the only ones that are going to be able to skimp out on this one. Even middle school and elementary grade school students still have to some way, form, shape, contribute their basically a large chunk of their lifehood and childhood to the service of the great leader Obama. Says mentions there would be uniforms in it also. The vote was on the 18th. It's H.R. 1388, which reauthorizes National and Community Act of 1990, Domestic Volunteer Service Act of 1973, plus now it includes new programs and studies. And it is funded with $6 billion over the next 5 years, according to Congressional Budget Office. And they're also talking about having an institute, almost like a college. It's a 4-year thing you would have to go and deal with, and it's pretty disgusting, because a lot of people have known that there were civilian army type deals through any dictatorship throughout history that, amazingly enough, the elite funded all of those too. So I guess it's about that time they want to try and put one here, since they're on their path to ruining their whole country right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and play the famous Obama audio clip of where he actually talks about wanting to have this civilian army, and you hear all these Obamanoids in the background clapping and loving it, not realizing that it's going to hit their freedoms as well.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.